Nearly all of the 45 defendants indicted in this week's big federal gang bust have been in court and pleaded not guilty.
And the judges have decided to hold all but one in jail until their trial. As the case moves forward, we're digging into how effective the organized crime law RICO has been in cutting down on violent crime. And Lou Raguse joins us with more on that. Lou?
Rena and Julie, the only defendant out of custody, to my knowledge, is the lone woman charged in this big case. I spoke with an international expert on gangs who's based here in Minnesota to look closer at how effective this strategy can be.
Our goal is to dismantle the gangs.
There's no question the arrest and charging of 28 members of the High Street Gang and 17 members of the Bloods in Minneapolis takes a lot of allegedly violent people off the streets. But how effective will the use of RICO, a federal organized crime law, be at reducing violence in Minneapolis?
In the short term, it certainly does disrupt and dismantle those groups. And that seems to have a positive impact because you're reducing violence on the streets.
James Densley is a professor of criminal justice at Metro State University and has written a number of books on gangs while studying them over the last 20 years.
But in the long term, there's concern that then this creates a power vacuum on the streets and that other groups move in to fill it.
To prevent territory and power wars leading to even more gun violence, Densley says it's important to also implement prevention and intervention measures. That's something U.S. Attorney Andy Lugar says is part of their strategy.
Street-level intervention, community engagement, and regular meetings with gang members.
Densley points to one example of why the multidisciplinary approach is necessary.
Famously, RICO was used to dismantle some of the biggest gangs in Chicago in the late 90s and early 2000s. But if you ask people in Chicago today, do we still have gangs? The answer is obviously yes.
Densley says, unfortunately, there's not very good data kept on what percentage of overall gun violence is actually gang violence, but that with the chain reaction retaliatory nature of gang shootings, it's likely Minneapolis could see a real short-term difference. Then it's important to build on that momentum.